Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. This is episode number 30. Today is a special one. Today we are finally launching our newest series, which is called Coffee is Better Together.
Yeah.
Sounds
Right?
it. Yeah.
I was looking for the approval. Yeah, Coffee is Better Together. So basically, guys, in this series, what we're going to do is be having conversation and drinking coffee. Well, in this instant, water, just because we had too much coffee.
coffeeed out
We
today.
lied, yeah. So today we have a special guest, but before I announce who it is, you guys already saw him if you're on YouTube, but basically in this new series, what we're going to be doing is having coffee with people that are either in the coffee community or just doing something different, following their own journey, trying to like do their own thing or own business, whatever it may be, and we just want to have conversation with them and drink coffee or water in this instance. But we did have a conversation prior to this, so I'm just very excited to launch this new series. I mean, today I have Minnie, I have George,
Yo.
Hi.
our regular co-host, and then today we have a special guest, is
Drum roll.
Nick Castellano.
Yes,
Sorry, it's your drum roll.
90s cheering.
So Nick, thank you so much for being here, dude. Like, we're seriously so stoked to have you on. You are CEO,
co-founder,
co-founder of Global Origins Coffee.
Yeah, I'm super stoked to be here.
Dude, thank you so much.
Yeah,
All the way
yeah.
from where?
Upland, so I guess like LA urban area.
Okay,
Yeah.
sick, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we recently we went to James Coffee earlier, and we had coffee, dope conversation, and we're gonna do it all over again. So it's gonna be good. And so I want to start off and just tell us who you are, like your age or how you got into coffee, a little introduction.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
So I'm Nick Castellano. I just turned 23 day before we did
Happy
this podcast.
birthday,
Thank you.
dude.
Happy
Appreciate
belated.
it. So I started Global Origins maybe a little over a year ago as an idea, and then it hasn't even been a year. I've been a legal corporation, you know.
Nice, dude. Congrats.
But yeah, I mean, I graduated college a year ago, studied political science and economics from the University of Laverne, and my studies kind of influenced my interest in the world, my curiosity in the world, and especially coffee. Like, coffee is like this universal ritual that we can all connect to throughout the world. And
Definitely.
so I was traveling a lot in college, and then, you know, I went to Bali, Indonesia, had this really crazy coffee there called Kopi Luwak. It's basically this cat poofs out of the coffee, and then they roast it and drink it.
We have spoken about that too.
Yeah.
In conversation.
Touched on that.
So after that trip, I was like, you know what? I want to build a brand that lets me travel and lets me connect with different people all over the world. And coffee's the perfect thing just for that, you know? And coffee kind of already goes with what I studied. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. And so 6 months later, now maybe less than that, I graduated college. And then I picked the name Global Origins.
Yeah.
And then a few months after that, packed up and left to Colombia for 3 months.
Just casually left to Colombia. That is crazy. And you're 22 years old at that point.
At that point, I was 22. So
22.
the idea, I was already 21.
21, yeah.
And then when I filed as a corporation, I was 22.
Nice.
Dude,
So
that's crazy.
There's a lot of like things happening in like just a few months. It was crazy.
And it's interesting that Luwak, the coffee, is what really like that sparked the idea, right?
Yeah.
So how was the coffee? Like, was it like just so delicious? How can you describe it? It's crazy.
Like Indonesia or Bali in itself is super exotic. So like prior to that trip, I was like, you know, I really want to visit an exotic country, just something out of this different than like the Western world. And then when I went there, heard about this coffee, and I was like, okay, well, I'm already in an exotic country. This is an exotic coffee. This is perfect. I got to try it. And I tried it, and like the coffee was actually really good. It's really expensive.
I've never had it.
Me either.
I think it's because it's rare.
It's rare.
Yeah.
It's rare and it's controversial.
How much was it, by the way? Just like, do you remember?
Well, there it's like maybe, I don't know, $15 for a cup.
Oh my gosh.
Here you would, if you can go into Santa Monica, is some place that sell it for like $100 a cup.
That's insane,
crazy,
dude.
I personally think it's a little bit overpriced.
Right.
It's great coffee. It's amazing, but I definitely do think now
It's the hype, huh?
It's the hype.
Yeah.
Quick question. How much would you pay
For a coffee?
here? Yeah. For Luwak.
Oh, Luwak? Oof. $50.
Oh my
50.
gosh.
Okay.
Yeah.
That gives you an idea
Yeah.
if coffee right now, you know, costs like $5. That's 10 times.
Yeah.
So you're willing to pay 10 times more.
For that coffee.
that coffee?
Just to
Alright.
try
It's the experience
a
too,
different
though.
one.
You're paying for the
Yeah.
experience.
Interesting.
I would do that.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember what method they used to brew the coffee?
Well, the process is the method, I'm sorry. in Indonesia they used at the farm it was a siphon.
Oh, okay, nice.
So that's like typically the preferred method that they recommended. And then the place in Santa Monica that sells it in LA, I forget the name of this coffee shop, but they use a siphon as well.
Oh, okay.
All of their coffees are done with siphons.
Wow.
Like the guy that owns it is like all about siphons, doesn't do anything else but a siphon.
Oh my
God.
And only carries exotic coffees.
Dang.
So it's an interesting
Nice.
spot.
Good
Yeah.
market.
Yeah.
Did you like coffee before you tried that? Like, were you into coffee, specialty coffee?
Oh, good question.
Yeah. I've always loved coffee. I just love coffee because I used to. I was telling Lalo earlier. I used to race bikes, so like Lance Armstrong, you know, and so coffee and cycling go well, like hand in hand.
I see that.
So I've always loved it, you know, being around it, riding, whatever. And then, but I never knew anything like about the origin or the farmers or anything like that. So it wasn't until like recently that I was really just deep into it.
Now at that point, were you doing like coffee and creamer? Were you doing espresso drinks?
No. I was already into like
Black.
black coffee.
But what was like that moment when you're like, okay, coffee's different? Was it like, did it come the same time as biking, or how did it play?
It was probably that trip. That's the trip. Yeah. When I lived in Europe when I was 16 for a few months, or sorry, for a few weeks, and I experienced like this really neat coffee shop there that got my interest in coffee.
Okay, I see.
But it wasn't until a few years later when I went to Bali that it was like, okay, like this specialty coffee is a thing.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
I love it.
How did you stumble in Bali on luwak coffee?
Honestly, I don't really remember like who told me about it. I think somebody I saw it on the bucket list or something because that's where a lot of people know it from.
Okay,
where I got its
that's a
hype.
good one. Yeah,
Yeah. But
That movie we watched. Is that the
one
one
with-
you're talking about?
Yeah, the one with
Morgan
Morgan
Freeman.
Freeman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
I
That's
almost cried,
hilarious.
dude.
Yeah.
I almost cry at the end.
That's
Oh,
hilarious.
dude.
That's so
I
So
love
that
that
movie-
movie.
That movie is what started the hype of that coffee. It's
Really?
always
Yeah.
been a thing. Like the
Really?
history of it is when the Dutch colonialized Indonesia. The farmers, I don't know, someone got the crazy idea of they were noticing these cats were eating the cherries,
Yeah.
and they were noticing they were pooping them out, and like it was like you can pick the cherries
It was
or
whole.
it was whole still.
Yeah.
So someone got the bright idea to wash them and then roast them and drink it. Okay, interesting. And I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's real smooth. Got a lot of chocolatey, darker,
I bet.
fruity notes. So it's just like it's an experience.
For
you know?
sure.
So,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what I can tell by these things that you're telling me is that you're very like, what's the word, like not a risk taker, but like you kind of like adventurous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Very
that
adventurous.
really how you would like describe
for
yourself
sure.
in a way?
I'm definitely like more risk adverse.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good, but I love an adventure.
Yeah.
Like me and my girlfriend, we travel together a lot as well, and we're the kind of people to kind of just go to the country, not plan out too much, have an idea of what we're gonna do, but figure it out when you get there.
Figure out the
That's
rest.
cool.
'Cause that's an adventure. You know,
Yeah.
adventure is like just spontaneous, just figuring it out as you go
Right.
with the flow, and that's how I kind of try to emulate my life in a way. You know, there's some things I like to do with structure, but some things just like you just gotta do it.
Yeah.
You know.
That's good, dude.
So,
That's crazy.
And then tell us, okay, so then you go to live in Colombia
Yeah.
for what, 3 months?
3 months.
3 months, you
Yeah.
said. So like, what's Global Origins Coffee? Can you like, tell us, like, just people that never
Yeah.
heard of you, like, what is Global Origins?
So when I went to Colombia, I knew nothing about coffee. I just knew I liked good coffee, basically.
Yeah.
So before I left, I went to the Consul General of Colombia in LA and was like, hey, I'm going to go buy coffee. Where do I start? And they basically, okay, here's a contact. And I basically had some things organized for me to visit exporters, fincas, and basically learn the entire Colombian coffee trade and get a crash course in 3 months.
Oh my
So
god.
I went, built my network, visited a bunch of different people, fincas, exporters, roasters. And then going into that trip, I had this idea of, well, you know, I really want to create a brand that has an impact on environmental and social sustainability and, you know, lifting those standards across the world.
Yeah.
So I had this idea of, okay, well, good way to do it is to have a roasted and packaged in origin coffee. This is before I learned about logistics and all this different kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I met with some exporters and roasters who were able to do that and who were willing to do that. And I was very fortunate to use already a supply chain that was already in place with them. And they helped me out. And after that trip, came back started making the next move to create a label, build the following to buy the coffee. And yeah, next thing you know, we put in our first order, and then we came out with our first roasted in origin coffee, which is Finca del Corazon. I actually went to this auction that it was auctioned off at. We didn't buy the entire lot, our exporter did, and then our exporter gave us the entire lot. So basically, we're the only company in the world to have this farm.
Oh, interesting.
This variety of coffee, from this harvest.
That's cool.
So we try to emulate some exclusivity to really support the farm and the origin as much as possible, but also the idea to package and roast the coffee in origin to give the origin all the value added as best as possible and as much as possible.
I can't even imagine like how exciting it was for you to get like the first package of coffee with your packaging, the roasted coffee.
Yeah, no, it was a surreal feeling, you know, like essentially I'm an importer. And so that's what we're doing is importing coffee, whether it's green or roasted. Yeah. I think now we're focusing more on green coffee, but just in general, like doing your first import and going through the whole headache of logistics and customs and
I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah, it's a headache a lot of people don't want to worry about. But it's also rewarding because it's so much work put into it, so much headache, so much money, everything that it's very rewarding when I picked it up and I was like, man, this is really happening. Like this is a thing.
Did you get a chance to cup this prior or? Yeah.
So at the auction we went to, prior to the actual bidding process in the set area was at, we went to a lab. It was like in Colombia they have different labs in each department that specialize in promoting the education of specialty coffee. So they're trying to lift their specialty coffee market as well. We went to a lab and we cupped probably, I don't know, I think like 25 different coffees. And basically there was different they call them Q graders there, who basically narrowed down which coffees were going to be bidded at the auction. And this happened to be one of the coffees, so it was ranked very high, cupped very high, cupped a very high score. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but this cupped at a 88, so close to 90.
90 is the max, right?
No, 100. It's extremely hard to find coffees above 90. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So 88 is in itself really good.
Excellent coffee.
And yeah, originally before the cupping, I remember tasting this coffee because they had them written out. But during that cupping, I didn't expect to buy it in the future. And then a few months later, the exporter that ended up buying it is the exporter I started working with.
Very cool.
And a full circle. And I remember trying this coffee, and I was like, you know what, it's good coffee. It's perfect. Perfect to start with. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's dope. And then I remember the first time we connected, you suggested French press brew method.
Yeah.
Is there a specific reason or why you suggest that one?
I mean, I'm a V60 kind of guy.
Okay. Cool.
I just think like that's the best way to really extract flavors and fruitiness out of coffee. But very rarely, like, I'll try different things, and we happened to try this, and our exporter said the same thing, and a bunch of friends who use a French press said the same thing, and we tried it, and with the French press, and I was just impressed, like amazed at how much flavor you can get out of this coffee with the French press. So that's what we recommend to a lot of our buyers. For this specific coffee, do a French press. I just think for some reason it works perfectly with a French press.
With this one,
yeah.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah.
And for me, what boggled my mind, or just kind of in shock for me, is how you kind of went in on this with like no previous experience, no prior experience. Like you literally went out and looked for contacts. Like you literally go out and you find people to connect with. Like, where does that? Like, I don't know, bro. Like how do you do it? Like, how kind of advice would you give for somebody that, let's say, wants to start something in a completely different field or area even? Like, how do you go about that? Because you said you went to like the Colombian, what is it?
Yeah, an indigenous territory. Yeah, in Colombia.
Crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I mean, my parents have a lot to do with this. They raise us kind of to be open and like explore different things, try new things, not to be afraid of the outside world. So from a young age, my parents, they always took us to like where they grew up and explored like different things that were outside of our comfort zone. So my whole life I've always grown up not being afraid, like not afraid to explore different things, try new things, meet different people. So a lot of that is credit to my parents for sure.
Awesome.
But then also like, just not being afraid, you gotta, like, I've always had this mentality of just doing it. Just like Nike, just do it.
Hey, that's good, dude.
But that's literally
Not
it.
a paid sponsor.
Nike owes money. That's cool.
So yeah, just like not being afraid, just to go out there and do it, try it. If you fail, you fail. If not, then great, you know. But
I love that.
Just
we hanging out at James, we talked a lot.
Yeah.
And one of the questions that I asked you, and I kind of wanted you to talk about it here, because I really like your answer and I really like the way you think about certain things.
Yeah.
I asked you why you wanted to get in this specific field of, you know, in the coffee world.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, no. Well, there's a lot of things to that.
Yeah, that's a loaded question.
Yeah. The biggest thing, I love coffee. I'm very passionate about coffee, but I'm very passionate also about helping people succeed. And with coffee, because coffee is such a universal ritual, tool, whatever, commodity, whatever you want to call it, that anybody around the world can connect with, you can learn so much just having a cup of coffee with somebody, you know, talking over coffee, talking about the coffee, even if it's not talking about coffee.
Right.
You can use coffee as a tool to connect and meet different people, you know? And I always had a love for learning. So for me, coffee is more than just like something you taste. Coffee is used for me to learn about the coffee, learn about someone else, and also the ability to travel around the world, experience different places, people, cultures, learn about what coffee means to them, or just learn about that person itself, what their story is, it happens to be. And that's what coffee is to me. Coffee is more than just a commodity. Coffee is like, it's a universal, I don't know, universal connection. Connector.
Really
Yeah. And that's a big reason why I'm in coffee is there's so much opportunity to explore and experience the world, you know, through coffee. So it's like my biggest love for it.
Yeah. And something I like that you mentioned when we were at James is that, you know, you travel so much.
Yeah.
And you've been to how many countries already?
23.
23.
23.
Yeah. Crazy. I've been to Ensenada twice. Just kidding. Yeah, I mean, you love traveling, and obviously with this job.
Yeah.
And this, you know.
Yeah, this industry.
This road.
Yeah.
That you've taken.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of traveling, so you're gonna be doing what you love, right?
Yeah.
Something that I really liked that you said was, you with helping people succeed, you like also teaching and helping them learn because you like to learn.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I love to learn.
Yeah.
And when somebody asks me a question about something that I'm passionate about, I freaking ramble, dude.
Yeah.
I can see you the same way, man. I freaking ramble and go on, and I'm like, I sometimes now I even just ask them like, how nerdy do you want me to get?
Yeah.
Before I answer, first thing, how nerdy do you want me to get? But that, dude, I think that's so cool that you not only do you want to, you know, you travel and, you know, get all these different coffees, but you also have a goal of bringing people to
educating,
come and you know, visit all these different crazy places, and to taste coffee straight from the tree, as you say. You know? But yeah, I mean that's awesome. I just wanted to kind of commend you for that one, Ben, because
appreciate it.
I think I mean the coffee world is so big, and this avenue, I think it's so cool to try to share that with everybody, you know, because not everybody has a chance to.
Well, that's just it as well. Is like what I want to build Global Origins as is. I want to build a good company. I can, you know, live and support our family, but also I want to provide an experience. You know,
That's
like
good.
I would much rather save on not having an office in a big building or whatever, and save that money to take people with me to Origin, provide an experience, teach them what I know. You know, my experience in Origin is incredible. It's a you know, cool story to tell. But at the end of the day, I still believe that, like, if I can help people, whether it's just motivating them to travel the world or go to Origin and learn more about coffee, and be a part of that, their motivation to do that, I'll be satisfied. You know, I'll be super happy with that.
Because it's like beyond the coffee, beyond that sale. It's like, I need you to see it for yourself. Like, this is kind of like the fruits of what you're doing, like, or what you're purchasing or whatever it is like. It affects a person and affects somebody. Like, there's people at the end of the coffee that you follow it back.
I think that's such a like a great like moment is when the things that we're passionate about, and when we're able to give somebody that aha moment. For something that we love. I think that's such a great feeling. I mean, that's almost even better than having it yourself. Just being able to share that with somebody and get them to get that aha feeling.
Definitely.
I think that's why I love coffee and like at the coffee shop that we work at, I was telling you earlier at James that, we do get a lot of business people and even just regular people that don't know much about coffee, but to see them get that aha moment with like a pour over or a cappuccino or a cortado, something like that, cortado. Yeah, I mean that's so much. It's so worth it. Like at the end of the day, when you're like, man, okay, that was worth it to pour that 4-minute freaking pour over or whatever.
Dude, a quick little thing, because that just reminded me so much, dude. Like I feel like there's a lot of passion in the room. Where, for example, like I remember the time that I went to a brewing fundamentals class.
Okay.
And they showed us this movie, and props to Adriana, like my manager at Kova. She showed us this movie. I forgot it's called, like Farm to Cup or something like that. But Seed to Cup.
Seed to Cup, yeah.
Dude, but I remember that the first time that I watched it, we kind of watched like a part of it because it was gonna be like the rest of it for next week.
Yeah.
But I was so intrigued that there's people that are picking it by hand, and then I remember I came home. And I told Minnie, I was like, Minnie, like watch what, like let's go on YouTube and let's watch this together, because I was so mind blown. I was like in love, dude. I like I wanted to tell everybody about this coffee. I wanted to share with everybody, dude, this coffee, like there's people that are getting paid so little for their coffee. I remember I was so fired up. And Minnie fell asleep during the YouTube. The first time.
The first time I did, because we were barely getting into coffee. And I was like, okay, I get it. And he talked about it a lot beforehand.
Dude, it was like, like, you know what I mean? Like how you said, it's that aha moment where you're like, yo, like there's been so many hands that have gone through this coffee just to get to my cup.
I mean,
that blew my mind.
Just like one cup of coffee is absolutely incredible to like
amount of work.
Just to have a coffee, one cup it's a lot of work,
Yeah.
And that's what it is like if only videos of origin can only do so much. They're amazing to watch, but actually going to the finca and like seeing a coffee picker or coffee farmers, hands, how thick they are because they just pick coffees all day for months. And how all the dirty nails and all the working, like grit and grime that goes into it is so inspiring and motivating that like these people probably work harder than 50% in like a developed nation, and like they're getting paid nothing, but it's also like it inspires me to like do what I can to support them, but also give people the opportunity to support them as well.
Nice.
And get that experience. So
what can you say like about the farmers? Because you met a couple of them already. Like, like what can you say? Like, what have you, like, have they told you anything? Kind of like some insider from the farms, like from the farmers. Like, what are they saying out in the fields of like us people out here drinking coffee? I don't know. I'm kind of curious. Like, are they like do they? Because I've also heard that a bunch of them haven't even tasted their own coffee at times.
Like roasted.
Like, what can you tell me? Like, what are some things that they tell you? Like conversation. I don't know. I'm just curious as to like, how they think or how they.
Well, the industry is changing a little bit in terms of more opportunity for farmers. So now producers, a lot of producers and exporters, they're getting like, they're learning how to cup coffees properly, how to properly like taste for defects and they're learning more about coffee, not just, planting a seed, picking them and sending them somewhere.
Good.
They're learning more about their coffees, and a lot of the industry is trying to help promote that, to provide the education to the farmers. So that they're able to market themselves as well, right?
So higher scoring coffees.
Exactly.
More clientele.
And also in turn make better coffee.
Exactly.
Now you know what you can get better on.
Because that's what it is. Like, if people are gonna spend a lot of money on coffee, they also want good quality out of it. And that's what it is. So farmers, they want better pay, but people don't want to spend a lot of money for a bad cup of coffee. So it's like a balance, They have to produce good coffee to get better pay. But people are going to be willing to pay more if there's good quality coffee.
Of course.
Right?
It's all connected.
Exactly.
Everybody.
It's basic economics too,
Yeah.
I don't have a degree, so I can't.
No, it's okay. No, but
I mean, really, bro, you're going there.
All right, bro, we got it, you guys.
No, but like, but we all want good coffee. We want to give, if we're gonna pay a lot of money for coffee, we want to get something of good quality.
Yeah.
But no, a lot of times like the farmers, they're really stoked when people come visit them. It helps I speak Spanish, so I was able to speak to more people. A lot of times people who go buy coffee don't speak to people or don't speak to the farmers because they don't know Spanish, so they're just like, oh, I want to buy a good coffee. They're willing to pay for it, and that's it, But yeah, I mean, they're stoked. They get super excited when people come visit them. People want to pay good coffee, or pay money for coffee.
Right.
And they're also willing to learn as well, So, yeah, they get excited for sure, knowing that like there is opportunity in the future for them.
Nice.
You know?
That's good.
So yeah, it's good. Yeah.
You also work at Copa Vida. So in San Diego, you work at the mothership of Copa Vida. Yeah. So in San Diego, we have 2 Copa Vidas. We have one in East Village and then
the one like
Broadway.
more to
on Broadway downtown. Yeah, at the business area.
Like literally across from where we were.
It was on like, J Street, Petco Park.
Yeah.
That one,
that one's East Village. Yeah,
that one's super good.
Yeah. So you work at the mothership, and tell us about like how it is and how does you being a barista impact Global Origins Coffee, or how does it connect?
Yeah. So I work at Copa Vida in Pasadena. Their first shop as a company.
Nice.
And it's been an incredible opportunity. The owners and the management and the team there has been very welcoming. You know, they know my story, but they're also willing to support me in any way I can, which has been very comforting in knowing that. But it's good because Pasadena is an interesting market, much different than San Diego, but I get to learn the market. You know, that's my opportunity to connect with people, learn about what they want in coffee, you know, see their responses to, you know, when they're going to pay a $4 cup of coffee. Are they going to react good? Are they going to react bad? You know?
Right.
And it helps me kind of dictate and learn more of, okay, this market will pay this much for coffee. This is what the kind of coffees I should be going for in my own company. And it's been a lot of fun too, making espresso drinks pour overs. I'm in like my natural state. So if it doesn't feel like work,
that's good.
Like it feels natural to me. It feels normal. It feels fun.
Nice.
And
what would you say is your favorite thing
about working there?
About working there,
about
and your least favorite.
You
gotta make it controversial.
Being a barista at all,
sure.
not just Copa Vida.
Hey, man. Actually, being a barista in general.
Yeah, no, for sure. And from everybody I speak to, I think to start with, the least favorite part is the cleaning. Like the busting the table.
Yeah.
I mean, what I thought like going into a barista job was just make latte art. But I come to find out, I have to sweep and all that stuff. They're like, yo, I'm just trying to do art, bro.
But that's probably my favorite part. My latte art is terrible right now. You know, sometimes
it's fun though.
Yeah, it is fun. But it's my favorite part is like making something out of milk. Like,
what? Dude, that's like another one of those like aha moments. For you guys know. That I've been listening to podcasts. Now that I've been working at Kova.
Yeah.
Man, like. It's like those aha moments, like when something clicks and like you get better at certain thing with your latte, like you're like, oh man,
Swan.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a coffee scene in Pasadena, or like, I mean, would that be? You said it was L.A.
It's like L.A. County, right?
L.A. County, yeah. Pasadena is like. It's only like, I don't know, 15 minutes from LA, like downtown LA.
So you guys kind of join LA shops like with throwdowns? If that happen?
Yeah, basically it's throwdowns every week, it seems like,
yeah.
In LA.
Orange
County has a bunch of them.
When are you going to compete in the throwdown?
Oh, man. I better learn how to do a heart first.
Just go past the first level.
I'll do butts.
You should come down, bro. San Diego, I think it's about to start the whole like throwdown.
Okay.
It's like every Thursday.
They have like a season.
A season, yeah.
Is there like a league down here and stuff too?
A what?
A league? Like a
wait, what?
League?
A league?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a barista league in LA.
What?
Yeah.
Barista league?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's just an Instagram account.
What is this, Harry Potter, bro?
There's
like
actually
squads.
There's a bunch of competitions and like
people
like can qualify for like bigger competitions. It's a big thing.
Oh, a league.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know there is there's a
no, not here.
latte throwing competition happening in TJ.
On TJ, yeah, this week.
They're gonna do tag team.
Ooh,
that's pretty tight.
Yeah,
tag team.
Yeah, I know. I can barely do myself.
I'll pull the shot. Someone else can do
it.
Yeah. They can do the
like get the milk in, and that's it. The next person throws in.
Here you go, Master Chef.
Yeah.
I'm also like, I kind of want to get into like, because you are 23 years old, and you're starting your own company, like literally from the ground up, and you're going through all these like information that you have to learn on your own, and like ups and downs. So I kind of want to know like, what do you do, or like what's your strategy when you feel like, okay, this is like a roadblock, or even like how do you get yourself out of it if you feel like giving up, or it's like, man, you know what, it's not, like doubts come in your head, because I know that happens as like people that starting their own business, like anything like that, like how do you overcome that? Like what are some like tips or advice you can
I mean,
give the people,
give us?
Yeah.
Help me, please. Start crying like, yo,
bro, I need help.
Start crying.
Like, what do you do, bro?
Help me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a big talker. Like not like talk crap.
No,
and
I
stuff
got you.
and confidence. But for me, talking about things helps. It helps me like flush out ideas, clear a bunch of ideas I have that are just everywhere in my mind, or even just like bad, like negative thoughts of like, oh man, it's not gonna work. So I just ended up going like talking to my girlfriend, talking to my parents, my business partner. By the way, I have a business partner. I should have mentioned that. Good guy, best friend,
best friend.
I don't know about partner anymore.
He's like, I did it myself.
No. He's been like incredible help in the back end.
That's good.
He really wants to visit Origin. We will soon.
What's his name?
His name's Colin.
Colin. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Shout out Colin.
Colin Whitaker. Good guy, super motivated. And he's learning about coffee as well. So
that's sick.
He's motivated to learn more about it and just get himself involved.
So talking about it, like kind of sharing your thoughts.
Yeah,
with people,
just like bouncing ideas off each other. You know, like, hey, we're not doing this right, or this is just not working out. Like, what do you think? Or what do you think we could do better? Like, what are other avenues we could take? It's just kind of asking each other those questions.
Asking the right questions.
Because when we're put on the spot of answering a certain question, it forces us to think like, okay, well, what can we do differently? What can we do better? And that's something. Those are conversations we have together all the time. It's like we're not afraid to call each other out, but also, you know, put some pressure on each other to flush out an idea or really clear, execute something properly in the right way. You know, so that's what's really helped me is just talking to someone about your ideas or your barriers that you're facing, and by talking, I learned this in school, is just by talking about things, like when you're in a moment of just speaking, things come to your mind. Like they just come out, and
something sticks to the wall.
Exactly. And when they come out, it's like, okay, then you can start to execute an idea or whatever. So yeah,
that's a great point that you brought up too. I know we talked about it at James.
Bro, you said that one more time.
I know.
I was gonna let it slide. James owes us money now, bro. They said too many times.
You know, Dunkin' Donuts owes money, bro. No, I know we talked about it earlier today.
At a coffee shop.
James.
Talked about it over coffee.
That how great is it to have a team? Like, man, just even one more person, you know, with you, because that's a great point. Like, they do. You know, when you do hit a roadblock, or when you're feeling, you know, not the most. You know, motivated
confident or whatever.
They're there to help you up, and you know, sometimes one is going to pick up more slack than the other because you know, everybody has their times, but that's a great point that on top of that, they also keep each other in check. And I think like that's something that that is very, very good about having a good team that is honest with each other, because there's been times where like, man, sometimes we're not happy with each other, right? That happens with every team. But it's good to have that honesty. I know we talked to you about Eric, one of our close friends too, and that's something that he does with us, and like he challenges us, right? He's like, hey, what about this? Well, have you thought about this? And like, why are you doing this? And then that's why when I was talking to you, I think it was cool, like getting to know your why and like why you're doing it, and that's awesome, man. And I think for people listening out there, when you have a team, not that, you know, you're gonna be like, oh, I can do this myself and I don't need anybody, but having a team is such a great blessing and like such a great thing to have around you. Just have people that are honest with you and that can push each other. I think that's
it helps hold each other accountable.
Definitely,
it's super important, holding yourself accountable, and it helps you have a good support system, just mentally and emotionally too. When you have a support system, it helps you like keep pushing, just keep going, and knowing that there's people rallying behind you who are willing to help you, support you. And that's what's honestly been a huge part of making it, you know, almost a year in April. That's crazy. Because there has been times it's just like, man, is this gonna be worth it? You know, it's like, this is hard, you know. But having a support system that is willing to help you where they can or do whatever it takes to help you succeed, it's incredible. You know, it really gets you to that next level, make that next step, makes that next jump for sure.
I was thinking about when Minnie mentioned about the first time you got it in the mail, like you see your logo on there. It's like, dude, that feeling, I'm sure must have been like so like unreal. It's like, yo, like this is coming to life kind of thing. Like I'm sure we can like
when we got those first shirt printed, I remember like looking at them. We're like, dude, that is so crazy. Like that is our thing on
like
that shirt.
You made that.
You made it.
Yeah. That's all you know.
And like, there's so much work that goes behind the scenes. I'm sure that you do that. That it's like just to get it smells good. I gotta go. You said the back said. No, but this is like, I think it's so amazing. And is there so you starting with Colombia, right? Like that's like, is there a specific reason why you went to Colombia? Like why Colombia or?
Yeah.
Did I miss that? Did he already mention that?
No, I don't know.
He talked about it for 30 minutes, bro.
No, because I know that you started because I'm trying to divide like James and.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow, you said it.
After he said
that. I'm trying to divide the conversation like you already had this conversation, but like why Colombia and like do you have other coffees that you're planning on bringing on? Or?
Yeah. So Colombia, for me at the time, made sense. My girlfriend's family's from Colombia. They're from Medellin. So I already kind of had a way. I had already been there. That was the only other coffee producing country that I had been to that I'm familiar with, from the language, the culture, more or less. So, and I had a place to stay. So so logistically, it made sense to start there. And it was a smart move because I had a family there. I consider my girlfriend's family family.
Yeah.
That's a great lesson for all you people out there too. Like, man, use your resources.
Yeah.
Like, stop trying to like, oh, I can't do it because of this. I can't do it because like use what you have available to you.
Yeah, that's good.
If you can make that work, everything else is gonna come. Way easier.
And it's because like not being afraid. You can't be afraid to ask.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to ask.
You can't be afraid.
Worst thing to say is no. Don't ask again. Okay, I won't ask again.
Yeah.
Or they just don't respond or whatever.
I'm just learning how to do that, dude.
Yeah.
It's like networking.
Yeah.
It's definitely
It's
like
hard.
a skill that people can work on, but you just can't be afraid.
Yeah.
It's the
That's
biggest
good.
thing. So.
And so you went to Colombia.
But yeah.
For me, like another thing was 3 months there, dude. Like, you were telling us that you didn't know much Spanish. Like, it was kind of choppy Spanish, like that. And like, tell us about like how you were like adapting to the Colombian. I mean, because it's a whole different culture. Like, I'm afraid. Like, and I think like this is. I mean, it might sound a little ignorant or like naive, but I know that sometimes like for me, before I go to another country, it's like I would. Prepare myself and be like, okay, how's the culture?
Yeah.
What do they consider offensive? What is the good thing? What is right? I don't know. Like how was like your transition or when you were there? Like were you afraid at times? Like this is a new thing. I don't know. Just kind of
like your whole experience.
Walk us through your experience in Colombia. Dude.
Yeah. I was a little nervous before I went because you hear all these like I mean I had already been before but the first time I went.
Have you seen the show Narcos before you went?
Of course, Narcos. Yeah.
He was prepping.
To be honest, I was prepping with another show. It's called La Reina del Flow. So it's basically like
American Idol.
And no, it's a Colombian novela. It's based in Medellin, and it's like about it's like a revenge story. It's about reggaeton and all this stuff. Yeah.
Dale. Like that, bro?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. But that was how I prepped like the
That's
language,
cool,
and,
dude.
like the culture, because. Yeah, so that was like my like oh man, this is getting me stoked to go, right?
You bought your Colombian soccer jersey,
dude. Everything. I feel more,
I'm ready.
I feel more paisa now. In paisa, like they call this to tell our viewers.
Yeah.
The people from the state of Antioquia in Colombia, they call them paisas, like country people.
Yeah.
They're known for like hard workers. It's like comparing Texas and Antioquia, like country people, you know.
Oh, okay.
They have like a twang to their, not a twang, but a very distinct accent when they speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And it's like a whole nother world within Colombia, you know.
Wow,
so
that's cool.
I think it helped that you fit in though, right? Like you look pretty. Like if you told me you were from Colombia, I'd be like, oh yeah.
No, yeah.
Sure.
And I got that a lot down there, which helped me kind of
fit in
and like relax a little bit, because when people told me like, oh, I thought you were Colombian, and then I heard you speak Spanish, and then no, but but it helped me like get more relaxed, because at least I know that I don't stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, at least if you're walking by, be like, hey, Colombian brother.
Yeah.
What about like
hey, parcero, ¿qué más?
James Rodriguez.
Paisa. Like Mini, would she fit in Colombian?
Oh man, there's some areas.
Hey, Mini, you're getting mugged, bro.
For sure.
No.
Nick will mug you. Colombian.
We go like to TJ, and Lo's like, don't talk the whole time.
Spanish.
I'm like, what?
Like
no, but now it's safe.
Yeah.
In Medellin, it's safe. Like I experienced that. There's areas where you're totally safe, nothing will happen, you'll be fine. You know, there's some areas you don't go into.
Yeah,
it's like anywhere.
Yeah, just gotta know.
But
don't go to Logan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
San Diego.
But yeah, I mean, I also had my girlfriend's grandparents who live there to stay with in the city, so they gave me the ins and outs, the rundown, what to do, what not to do, where not to go, where to go.
Oh, that's good.
You know, don't wear your watch, wear jeans. You know, the little stuff that'll really make a difference in fitting in and feeling comfortable and not at the end of the day not being
bringing attention or
not bringing attention. Yeah, and they have a saying.
Flashy.
They have a saying in Colombia, and especially in Medellin. They say no dar papaya, It means basically like don't be flashy if you don't want something to happen to you. There's a lot of different like ways of interpreting it, but at the end of the day, it means like, hey, don't show yourself off if you don't want something to happen to you.
If you don't want attention, then don't.
Exactly. Yeah,
I'm gonna say that a lot now.
No, that's papaya. So.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, guys.
No, I'm not saying that. No. I'm just gonna stick to dale.
So then you're there, and like I did ask you about like. Cause I kind of figured you would have some like crazy, like at some point within those 3 months, I'm sure you had seen some things like.
You met Pablo Escobar, bro?
Where is he, bro?
Hey, people still think he's alive there.
Really?
So, they still believe it. They think that they like.
I got scared. I'm like, really?
They faked his death. He paid his way out, and like he's hiding somewhere. But I think he's dead. But
I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
I was thinking about
in the Narcos show he died.
I was thinking about
Chapo.
Chapo.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, Robert She's in prison right now.
He's listening to this, bro.
For real.
Chapo. That's crazy. So like, what are some like things? I mean, did you see? Isn't it like cocaine land in
Yeah.
Watch your mouth, bro.
No, but it's the truth. It's the truth.
It's cocaine land, bro. It's like Disneyland.
That's like ideal growing right there. That climate is perfect for cocoa. The cocoa plant, yeah.
Would you say that you're in love with the...
No,
not you, but like if you're in Colombia, never mind. But like, can you tell us a story about the club?
Oh no, just like
no, that was crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
that one. Okay, yeah, that one.
That's crazy.
It is
normal.
It is something different. It is
to some people.
To an extent normal. Definitely, Colombia doesn't want the stigma of being like a drug producing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
They're definitely like fighting it, but but it is true. Like there's still kind of a blind eye pulled in some areas because they know American tourists go there for partying, right? And so for an American tourist, it's easy to find it. You can get it on the street. If you don't even have to look.
It comes to you.
If you're an American tourist and you look like an American tourist, they already know. They already know to go to you. It's easy.
Wow, that's crazy.
For me, they didn't give me a hard time because I already looked from there, so I'm not gonna waste.
It's like Jamaica with weed, I hear.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Oh, you've been to Jamaica?
No, but I've heard stories. Yeah. I gotta go there for Blue Mountain coffee.
Blue Mountain coffee.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's a big brand, right?
No, Blue Mountain's like it's grown
a
in
kind?
Blue Mountains, like I think.
It's a Blue Mountain coffee,
I don't really know too
bro.
much about it. I don't know
questions.
too much info about it, but something like that. It's good coffee, I heard. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh wow. Okay.
But yeah, so I went to this club, or not even a club. It's just like a bar.
I didn't mean to put you on blast, bro.
No, it's okay. It is an interesting story and I tell people like, whoa, it's not like is that normal? Yeah. No, I went to a bar with my cousin, and it was like a family-friendly bar. There's families there. People go out, dance, have a drink, and it's normal. You know, it's nothing like crazy.
No. It's just
have
like
a nice
drink.
Yeah.
Like downtown.
We're there. Yeah, like downtown. We're there and having a drink with my cousin because she came to visit me for a week, and this table next to me, they had other plans, right? They had a different agenda that night, and and from what I heard, it's legal to have up to 6 grams of cocaine on you there. Wow. So that's kind of mind-boggling to me.
That's
mind-boggling to me. Yeah. Mind-boggling. Whoops. Not mind-blogging. And this table, they start pulling out these bags, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not going down right now. All of a sudden, they pour it out and doing their thing, and I'm like, don't look, do not say anything,
your own thing.
and like just pull a blind eye and let them do it. It's their business, and that's it. But it's just like it's so open. In some places, it's crazy. Yeah, and even like another interesting story is when I was in Costa Rica. This was nuts for me too. Yeah, the same trip I took a detour to Costa Rica, Panama. Yeah.
Dude,
wait, how close is that?
So it goes Colombia, Panama, and Costa Rica.
Who does a detour to another country? You guys from?
Well, I had
that's crazy, dude. That's cool.
This dude said on the way home, almost stop.
I was on the bus and these guys, so I took like a day trip to a beach, and these guys were like, they had a bag or whatever. I don't know what they were doing, and all of a sudden these guys like look around. I'm like, oh no, these guys are gonna do something right now. What's going on?
No.
And like they go down to their shoe, they pull like a little white thing out. I was like, oh, don't look, turn around, and
again protocol. Don't
just
look.
Protocol, don't look. Just let them do their thing, and you hear like a sniff, and I was like, oh, they're doing that. And like right behind them is like a little kid just on his little Game Boy. Yeah.
Damn.
It's just like it's just so
it's like a cigarette almost, like you just casually like.
Yeah. No, it's still not normal, but people are just like, it's just down.
Oh, it's like it's a
they
big
just
population
turn,
that are hooked on it.
And they just like don't, like they turn, like you said, like they just turn around, like don't.
Yeah, just pull a blind eye. You know, it's not like here where, I mean, well, I don't really know. Like, I'm not into the drug scene, but like from what I've heard, I don't do drugs. So. But from what I've heard, it's like it's more low key here. I think. From what I've heard.
I mean, it's very rare that you. I mean, when is the last time you guys saw someone? You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of rare, like that to hear or to even see that in public. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it is in general though an issue that those countries are trying to combat.
Mm-hmm.
And some people may think this is an inappropriate conversation, but I think it's important to discuss because. It is an issue that a lot of those countries face that the good people there, they do want to combat. They do want to fix it. They don't want any more narco trafficking, drug usage. It's not good. So it's just interesting. It's interesting, like, being there and seeing those kinds of things, you know? Because even, like, at the end of my trip, I took
don't say it, bro.
I took a random trip to this indigenous territory.
Wow.
And it was a crazy story. Like, I just, like, last few days I was there, I just packed up and, like, went up there because I wanted to go see this place. I heard they produce amazing coffee, and I wanted to experience it. So you have to get permission to go into these territories, and you can't just fly there and walk in. It doesn't work like that because they don't have roads, they don't have modern technologies. So I scrambled, found contacts, took a 4-hour bus ride around this mountain range. It's called Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, and I made a contact.
By the way, say when you make contacts, you like literally.
I literally was asking people.
Yeah. Like you say it casually.
Yeah.
But that is like I wouldn't even make contacts in the States, bro. Like that is like to get to somewhere.
Lalo won't even ask people for directions. He'll just get lost.
No, but that's insane though because, like, first of all, you're at somewhere where you don't even know the area of it. I mean, you know kind of it, right? But not like really.
Yeah.
Like, you're not part of that. You're not from there.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like so crazy that you just say, hey, like. I need to get here. Like how far can you get me, basically, and then you can take it from there.
That's literally it. Like, it started with an Airbnb that I found, or a friend sent it to me. They said maybe they can help you. I don't know, but maybe. So I was okay. I booked it. I went up to the Airbnb. I flew, took a taxi 50 miles up a mountain, got to the Airbnb just to be told, hey, the contact I have for me was on the other side of the mountain range. Wow. To go back down the mountain, stay the night, then take the 4-hour bus ride around, meet the contact the following morning. I don't know this guy, never met them, never even heard of them. I just know they own a coffee farm and they can take me to see it, and that's it.
So they say. Huh?
So the next morning, he said, I'm going to pick him a moto taxi. I'm thinking, like, okay, it's a nice, like, shaded thing. It's 3 wheels. It's going to take 2 hours to get there. Some of it's dirt. I'm like, okay, it shouldn't be too bad. Like, paved dirt roads, whatever, fine. I walk outside 6 a.m. and I see this guy on a motorcycle. I'm like, oh no, this is the full-on like dirt bike kind of thing. I had my backpack. Insane. I had like a bag of coffee on the side. And I was like, all right, well, I went up to him. I was like, hey, do I have a helmet? He's like, no, just get on. You'll be fine.
He's like,
he said I have one for me, bro.
Like, I'm gonna give you a bad review on Uber.
Did he have one? Did he have a helmet?
He had a helmet, but not for me.
So
I was like, all right, well, I mean, at this point, like, the guy came, like, I gotta go.
Yeah, he came through, bro.
Yeah, he came through. And
the driver needs to be saved, bro.
Yeah, he seemed like a right? Yeah. Who cares if I fly off? But seemed like a nice guy. He was telling me he's like a Christian guy. And I was like, okay, cool. Cool. We'll see if like what happens, right? So I went and ended up taking like 2 hours to get up the mountains to this farm, and you know, half of it was dirt road. There's certain points where it was so bad that like it was like Tarzan. Like, wow, I had to get a certain point, get off the motorcycle so he could push the motorcycle over some rocks.
I can picture that so perfect, dude. Like just pushing the bike up the mountain or something. Yeah.
And I finally make it to the coffee farm. Yeah. And this goes back to like the story I was telling earlier, but
how long was the ride from like when you got on the motorcycle?
2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours just on the back of a motorcycle holding on to this peg. And I had my entire bag on my backpack.
Was it hot outside? Was it hot?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was like cool weather, but because I had my backpack on, the sun was just shining back on me. I was like,
because you didn't want to do this, huh?
No.
you want to do this?
Not down for that. No.
Holding on.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and then I go there and they show the like it's a legit coffee farm, like you can tell. The people are in their traditional clothing, don't speak Spanish. They look at you like, who's this guy? Yeah. But then they showed me the cocoa tree, and as soon as I saw the cocoa tree, I was like, oh, see it and only look for coffee.
Like protocol.
Don't look at anything. I just as a precaution, because it's common for like nauticals to exploit like indigenous people, because they have their own territory. The government is not really involved in their territory. It's unfortunate, but it is an issue. So I knew immediately, like, okay, just do your thing, don't spend too much time, just look at the coffee, talk about the coffee, and then get out. Because you don't want to mess around with them, and I was safe. I never felt in danger, but you just never know, and
with indigenous people, did you have to get like permission or anything like that?
You have to get permission from a tribe leader.
That is. And how did you even get in contact? Like once you got there,
So the guy I know, they have the tribe leaders always go down to the cities to have their meetings with the local people and stuff. And
that's crazy. Like community, like a lot of that conversation.
So there's different tribes in there, and they got permission from the tribe leader. I got kind of like not an exemption, but because typically you need to do all this paperwork for the tribe leader to make sure like they know what you're doing there. But because I was trying to emphasize that, hey, this is a quick notice, I only have a short amount of time, they made an exception to just, hey, have this person pick me up and take me.
That's cool, dude. You're persistent. Like you, I mean, because I honestly, like, if somebody told me, no, like, you need paperwork, I'm like, all right, cool.
Okay,
But like, you're like, yo, like, I really want to be there. That's cool, dude. That's like, it shows a lot.
I made it known that I bought my ticket last minute. I flew up here for this. I took a 4-hour. I made it known, like, the effort I went, so that, kind of make them feel guilty a little bit.
Yeah. Good. You played your cards.
But I was not gonna leave until I went in and saw this kind of coffee cultivation.
That was your goal?
That was my goal.
Was
that
check
weekend.
Out the coffee farm?
That weekend. Just that weekend. Because, like, we hardly ever get to see indigenous coffee cultivation.
That's
like,
cool.
Even within the coffee industry, it's so hard to get. It's so rare. It's so special,
Now, since you have been to more modern, like farms, what was like more like the more bigger differences between the two?
Technologies. Processing and technologies. Coffee is still a pretty like old school industry in the sense that, like, at least in Colombia, they're still known for hand picking their coffees. Where Brazil, they're known for getting machines and just cutting off all the branches and taking it.
I bet.
Part of the reason Brazil's the number one export in the world, but also they don't export the highest
best
quality.
Colombia, like whatever gets in there.
Colombia's like hand pick every cherry. That's why Colombian coffee is incredible. But even like within Colombia, there's different renovations done to certain farms that other farms can't do because they either can't afford it or they don't have the accessibility aspect to like having those technologies or whatever. But yeah, this farm was super old school. No electricity. It was.
Oh my God.
They were still like drinking out of like a faucet that they like created themselves. There was no TV. They used like the cooking is still done off of stone. Super old school, off of wood, like the wood stone or whatever.
Yeah.
That's ancient, bro. That's not old school.
It's super ancient, yeah. Compared to some other farms I went to, they had nice labs on the farm as well, and there was definitely that contrast. But that's what they know,
That's what they know.
And people buy from them, and I think they want to improve it, but also some of those people don't even know there's an outside world. They just know that.
I was gonna say, man, I wonder what's in their heads. Is like, obviously they come and buy it, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what they pay for it? If they don't really need money, do they? I don't know.
I don't know too much about like their.
I wonder. I'm gonna do research on that.
I think it's like they have to go down into like the more populated civilization
to
buy basic goods that now like they know about, but I don't think they're too familiar with. They just know that they can use those things or what happens to them.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know about deep inside too, because there's some areas where you have to go so far into the middle that you have to take a camel or is it a mule, a burro. What is that, like a donkey? A donkey?
Yeah.
A donkey. A day trip into the mountains even further.
That's crazy.
Because that's what I had in my head. But the other one makes a little more sense.
Yeah. The tribe leaders, I think that's a part of what they go down for is organize basic goods for their people so they can bring it in.
I see.
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if that's true or not.
I'll do some research.
We'll look into it.
Is Colombia for the most part like I'm talking like pretty modern, like as far as like what you see here in San Diego, like on their phones and social media kind of stuff?
Yeah, definitely. Like everybody has a smartphone. They don't have iPhones, but they have smartphones. They have Instagram, Facebook. They're updated with the world. They're not like behind, and definitely Colombia especially is making a lot of just effort to really advance their country.
Yeah.
There's areas where it's still super underdeveloped and in poverty.
Like it's reaching there kind of like slowly.
Yes, especially Medellin. Medellin is an extremely progressive city.
I see.
They have a really good metro system. I mean, incredible. I personally think it's better than LA, and that's
really
interesting.
It's not like a New York metro system, but it's for a developing country, it's absolutely incredible. Like they are ahead of the curve, and they're trying to get ahead of the curve. So a lot of props to that for sure.
No Uber needed.
No Uber.
No, and
no Uber needed.
Do have Uber.
They have Uber,
Yeah.
Uber?
No, just in Medellin. Everywhere else is illegal. Well, it's technically illegal in all of Colombia, but Medellin is like
get that biker in there. Try to get that biker service.
Right?
Get the 5 stars, bro.
Yeah.
4.5 for no helmet.
So you go to the indigenous, and then you got to see the farm.
I got to see the farm.
Success.
Made a contact. Still working on getting the coffee we want from that region. It's definitely more relationships and more work needs to be done to establish a supply chain from that region. So it's a work in progress, but at least moving forward, we know what to expect from that region. And it's important knowing how to move forward, how to plan ahead with that region. So there's some really good opportunities for us there to get extremely incredible coffees from there.
In Colombia.
Really, really crazy coffees. Yeah.
And it's like your plan to continue, like, is Colombia like one of your top where you plan on continuing to pursue, or like?
No. So technically, we're always looking for opportunities everywhere. Always looking for a relationship or a connection with someone in other origins. Just made a relationship or a connection in. I like to separate connection and relationship because I don't call it a relationship until I visit the person and meet the farmer, meet the producer. A connection in El Salvador with the possibility of establishing a long-term relationship. Same thing with Yemen. Yemen is a little bit different because we're working with an exporter in Canada.
Oh, wow.
Because Yemen is a bit tricky. You can't just visit Yemen because of the conflict. So Yemen's really interesting. They produce really amazing coffees, but there's still a barrier of entry for those producers and for us to buy.
Isn't it crazy? Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Isn't it crazy how politics plays a big role in origins and coffee and what you can do and how money's moved around in coffee is
even
it's a whole other game.
Economics. That's what I studied, political science and economics. And people ask me you studied this, what do you use? Do you use it for anything? I was like, I use it for my business every day, because having that knowledge of different political geopolitical issues and the economy, knowing how to read the market, it's incredibly important as an importer because what you purchase is based on the C price, the coffee price, the market.
Oh, wow.
So it's fluctuating every day, and if you don't know how to read the market or understand the trends, it can be really difficult. It's really difficult to plan and communicate with your exporters of how to expect what to plan or whatever. So yeah.
Very cool, man. Yeah. Is there kind of want to get, as we're coming to an end now, I kind of want to hear your thoughts on business wise now. I know we have a lot of people here that are wanting to open up their own business or start their own thing on that road, or and I think you more than anything, you have the experience of you've gone to different countries, you've seen different styles of life and all that stuff, but I mean, I can just imagine how much time you've had of thinking, because you're always on the road, on 2-hour long drives or planes or all that stuff. What are some tips or things you can give to us, or even our listeners that are I want to start my own thing? Where do I start? How do I do it? Connections? How do I you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, the biggest thing is, it's cliche, but it's so true, is just to go for it. Don't hold back. Don't wait until the right moment. Just do it, Yeah. One of my business mentors, he always instilled that in my mind. It's just just do it. Don't be afraid. You can't be afraid to fail. If you're afraid to fail, you're already lost. You can't. But yeah, my biggest thing is just going for it. If you have a dream or you have something you want to live to, or you have a goal, just do everything you can to go for it, and don't let anybody tell you anything else and otherwise.
That's good, dude.
Yeah.
We talked about that last week. There's never a perfect time. You just gotta go for it.
Yeah, just go for it.
You're always gonna keep making excuses for yourself. Just go for it and do it.
Yeah.
And like whatever. Yeah, and something that I've been talking a lot with Mini is like about decision making. Like sometimes you take so long wanting to make a decision that you never end up doing it. When it's like just pick one and run with it. And if it's the wrong one, then you have like that experience and you learn from it. And if it's the right one, well, it's a win-win, right? Kind of thing. Well, it's like just go and like pick your decision and just run with it full force.
And you'll never know like which one was the right decision. Like you can't. There's no way. Yeah.
You learn from failure. To be honest. Yeah. That's what you can't be afraid of. Is education is not free.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna lose money. You're gonna lose relationships. You're gonna lose something.
Time or something.
Pride.
Yeah.
And that's
pride.
That's pride. Yeah, that too. And that's something you have to accept. You have to be willing to go through. You have to go through the lows to get to the highs. And if you can get past that initial fear, you're good. You're golden. Yeah.
That fear, huh?
I have 2 questions.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Have you been to Africa?
Oh, just Morocco.
So oh my god.
Did you have to get all the crazy shots for it?
I mean, kind of.
Oh boy.
Because under a year before that trip, I went to Asia. That was during the Bali trip, and that I had to get a lot of shots for. I had to get like what was it? Typhoid, malaria, yellow fever, all this stuff. Yeah, and I already had a lot of the shots, so it was still valid. So like, all right.
Have you heard of dengue? What is it?
Dengue?
Bro.
Yeah. I had it twice, bro.
No, dude, I just talked to somebody. It's my new coworker, and she got that from a mosquito bite.
Oh yeah.
Here in the States.
Oh.
So it's a tropical.
Yeah.
What is it? Disease or
a tropical.
It comes from mosquitoes.
Yeah. Well.
It does.
Somehow the mosquito had it and it bit her. And what was not funny, but what was kind of ironic about it was that no, she was about to go to Guatemala like for a mission trip, right? Oh. And so it's funny how she got it before she even got. She arrived to Guatemala because she felt it like right before she was about to go on the plane, and then she had to fly back to the States because she got it really bad. And just now she's like recuperating. Yeah. Because it affects like a 6-month thing even after you've been treated. Yeah.
It's a gnarly disease.
That's so crazy.
You can get it in Costa Rica, like tropical areas. Like tropical. That's what I learned. I went to this like zip lining thing in Costa Rica, and the guy was telling us about it, and I was like in the middle of the rainforest. I'm like, oh my god, it's just like please don't nothing bite me. Yeah.
That's good.
But
with that question, what was like out of the countries that you've been to, which one was probably like one where you were like, man, I'm kind of nervous to go there? He said the U.S.
No.
Oh, damn, you getting deep now.
There's some parts. No, I'm just kidding. Probably Morocco.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
dude.
Morocco is that trip was nothing to do with coffee. It was just me and my girlfriend, and Morocco is a very, very interesting country. It's my first time to the Arab world, first time to African continent, and first time experiencing Arab culture.
Wow.
And it's very different. It's for me before that trip, I had been to a lot of countries already, but even for me, it was a little bit of a culture shock because Arab culture is different than Western culture. They have their own customs, things, and if you're not prepared, it's different for sure. Yeah.
Wow.
So you do like before you travel somewhere, you do your research.
Yeah.
About the places, kind of
basic, manners and what to expect. I think it's important to doing your homework, going knowledgeable, so that you're at least respectful to culture and their customs. Yeah, #respect.
What's your next trip that you're planning on? Like, what would you want to go?
We were supposed to go back. Back to Shanghai in March or April, but now
they're not letting you travel.
Probably not the greatest idea in the world.
Oh, it can't. Yeah.
They don't let you. I don't think. Right?
Yeah. No,
they
we
wouldn't
can't.
let you.
It's banned right now. Yeah. Because we're going to be on an e-commerce platform in China. They have a really fast-growing e-commerce industry there, especially in coffee. So it's gonna be a great opportunity for us.
Wow, awesome. Dude.
Yeah, but in terms of traveling, in May, going back to Colombia, and then gonna visit Peru, Chile, and Argentina.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. Fun. That's so exciting.
Hey, you have to go to one of those Colombia trips too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go on those.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we could do that.
No.
I know how to ride a motorcycle.
I'm trying to go to that one bar thing you went to. I'm just kidding.
What's the name of it so I can write it down for research purposes?
I already forgot.
I already have my Colombia soccer jersey. But
it would be cool though to go and like actually get the experience like you're talking about.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You offered it to us, bro.
Dude, you know what we could do? We could have a podcast in a farm.
Dude, oh my god.
That would be awesome.
While the mosquitoes are biting.
Cut that part out because I don't want people to know our idea.
Yeah.
Hey guys, cover your ears. No, dude, no, for real. Like when you offer that to us, for me at least, it was like, yo, dude, like I totally want to go because I always wanted to go to a farm, man, and because I feel like it's different. Like I'm trying to appreciate coffee like through a window kind of thing, right? But once you're there, it's like a whole nother experience, I think.
And that's kind of a message I want to send to roasters too, if they're watching, is like, or listening, is with us, we're determined to make that happen. We want to make that happen, whether it takes us 6 months, a year, 2 years. Like, just know it's our goal to take you to origin.
That's
like,
so
that's
cool.
What I want to do. I will not buy anything I don't need to do, or do anything I don't need to do, until I can afford to take as many people as possible to origin.
I love
provide that experience. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Give that learning opportunity to people who are not as fortunate to do.
That's good, dude. And with that being said, like, where can we find you? Where can we buy coffee? Where can we order, like, even green beans? Because you say you're also beginning to.
Yeah. We're importing green bean. GlobalOriginsInc.com. That's our website.
Love it.
But honestly, we'll still start up. We want to talk to anybody, everybody. If the website doesn't work for you, we're on Instagram, Global Origins Inc. Facebook is also Global Origins Inc. That's the handle across everything. And don't be afraid to reach out to my personal page, Nick Castellano 1. Always more than happy to, whether it's talking to people, helping people get coffee, whatever it is, like, we're open to any opportunity to help people out. And if it's getting you some good coffee, then we're going to do what it takes to get it for you.
I love it, dude. And I'm so glad that we did this, just because before we even did this, we were already collaborating with like the Never Stop Brewing series. And even before then, I think we had already collaborated. So I loved it that this is like a relationship.
Absolutely.
You know, because
you've
been to our. Oh man, that was good.
It's even establishing relationships here, not just in origin.
Dude. Because now you made it official. Now we came to our origin.
There you go. Literally. Yeah, I love it.
Kind of like James Coffee out here, bro.
No. So like, I'm seriously like, thank you for driving like 2 hours, dude. Like that really means a lot to us.
I appreciate it.
Like we seriously like a relationship that we value, and like the reason we even wanted to have you on the podcast just because you've been so like hospitable, even like through social media and like the way that we talked and connected, even just through the phone call, man. Like it was honestly like a connection that I felt like that this dude is passionate. Like Nick, you have like passion over coffee, not just coffee, but like relationships. And I know that word is like thrown around so much in coffee, but like seriously, like we see it in you, like the passion that you want to take people to Colombia to experience what you've experienced and the people and all that stuff. So
I appreciate it.
Dude, is there anything you want to say before?
Before we cut you off forever.
Oh man, no, I mean I just appreciate the opportunity to come on this podcast. Like I was so stoked coming. I was like, I can't wait to get down there. Yeah,
dude, heck yeah.
And I just I really want people to know that like we're for giving an experience, you know, like experience before profit for me. If we can get that experience and like just get people stoked on coffee and like willing to just help in the industry as much as possible, and keep it genuine, you know, not just for like a marketing purpose. Like we want to keep it genuine and like show people like coffee's amazing. And like coffee is like it's an incredible commodity that I think we undervalue here, and we need to value more.
That's good, dude. I love it. And let's end on that note. And nice. For those of you guys that are watching or listening, all his contact info is going to be in the description, even on Spotify. We'll have it in the description or iTunes, wherever, on YouTube, the links and all that stuff. So make sure you guys check him out, give him a follow. And guys, thank you guys so much for listening. Nick, thank you again, dude.
Thank you so much for coming.
Appreciate it.
Especially because we both have a 6 a.m. Shift.
Yes.
You still have to drive 2 hours, man. God bless you, dude. So thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. And stay tuned for the next episode. And we're also going to be posting a little video of this on YouTube. The podcast is going to be on YouTube. We're also going to be, I'm going to try to put a video together from our James visit. So you guys can check that out as well. And again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Coffee is Better with Nick.
Dude, and Global Origins.
So Global Origins. So thank you guys so much, and peace out.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Done.